This is Dan Max, the trading agent. This is a stock trading and recap channel that I wanted to share to the masses. In a probability game, there's no certainty. Here are my insights and predictions.
Hello, all. This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent. It is November 10th, Wednesday, 2021. Let's get into this. Roblox, major winner yesterday, pulling back on lighter volume. I don't like that it's under the 103 area. If you see me draw charts, sorry to interrupt that. It's because I don't use this computer very often. It's my backup computer, but it's able to record the screen because my other computer has 8 screens and recording the screen is just a mess. I don't know how to do it. Another day, another time. Anyway, 103. It backed off. The volume was pretty decent today, but I did realize that after the close, it was in the last hour, sneaky, the news was that Roblox was going to be featured on Jim Cramer, Mad Money. Well, not knowing that makes sense why it went apeshit into the close, because everybody thought Cramer would pump the absolute shit out of Roblox, which indirectly he did, and he kind of was, but it took all the Cramer people who bought this morning, sorry boys and girls, you guys chased and you paid for it. Now you're back in the mid 90s. Let's watch it. Nothing wrong, nothing right perfectly yet. I've seen this a lot of times where you get a big gap up and you back up. The key is just to kind of hold 95 to 110. That big candle in green is your range now. That is a huge range, but that is the range. So it is what it is. Let's get into Bitcoin real quick, because just after the close, there's a headline from China that they're going to be doing their annual government outlay of their policies and whatnot. I was just trying to find it as we speak. Give me half a second and I'll read it specifically. But whatever, I can't find it. Long story short, China's going to ban Bitcoin. Nobody gives a shit at this point. They've said it 17 times. It backed under 65,000, which I said would be, you need to hold because it could be forming a bull trap. But I typically don't believe that recycled news that's been heard 40 times on Bitcoin really makes a shit of a difference at this point. So if I had a crypto trading account, I would have probably been buying that dip on Bitcoin. It looks like I got down to 63,000, which if we zoom in, you can kind of see what's going on here. It looks like this is where it hit. Yeah, that's where it hit. Now it popped. China, G, if you're listening, I'm sorry, guys. Repeating the same headline over and over again. No one cares. The dollar. Dollar got some juice today on the inflation information, which was interesting. I thought it was bearish. Again, I'm not trading it. I told you guys I want to see it break out of the channel to really have a confirmation of what's next. Well, maybe we go to the top of this ascending channel. Maybe not. I don't know. Until then, let's just kind of watch it. TLT, pat myself on the back again, said this blue zone was going to be a potential problem for TLT short term because we've been rising so quickly. We got into it and we backed off of it hard today on the inflation data. I would say, the 100-day held. I don't think there's anything too bearish about it. It's not ideal. Could it be leading to some big red candle with consolidation or a big red candle and dump? I'm in the belief that the feds have been the master manipulator of the bond market for a long time. I don't see that changing. They need lower rates or this economy could fall apart quickly because everyone is leveraged on debt. And when I say everyone being a problem, meaning the people who just need, the low bond prices and the low rates. The market's functioning on borrowing at this point, especially with bottlenecks and all the crazy stuff going on in the world these days. But neither here nor there. It's not that important at the very moment. I would just watch this blue zone. Let's just call it the no pass zone for now. Once we pass through it, then we have a different game, different talk, different conversation. Till then, just assume It can't get over it. Till it does, then we got game. The VIX, hate to sound like a broken record. W pattern, we talked about it. VIX was going to spike at some point. Market was probably going to pull back at some point. Predicting when and how wasn't really how important. It was important to me as just knowing that it was a possible situation, so that if you did have longs and you needed to take profit, and if you should have been doing that. Bottom line, you watch the VIX. If you don't watch the VIX, you're doing yourself a big disservice, because you got to know what's going on with the VIX. When the VIX spikes, market typically pulls back because the volatility index expands as the price of the daily candles expand, meaning volatility, change. Well, if the market's nice and slow and steady up, and every day it's up 100 points, for example, and every day it's 100, well, then that's not very volatile. That's very consistent. And so now that things are changing and you got down 300, up 400 points, well, of course, the VIX is going to expand because the size of each daily move is changing. It's not consistent. Google the VIX if you really need to understand it, but just trust me when I say expanding VIX, the market's going to get a little choppy. You can have expanding VIX with up markets too. Just keep that in mind. It's all about size of the moves. The SPY, talked about that, was pretty close enough, top of the channel. It's backing off. Where we're at really doesn't tell me too much, but it looks okay. I mean, everyone's freaking out. Volume's expanding a little bit. Could we get back out to the 2 times range, 460, 20-day? Of course we could. At this point, if you really want to short the market you're chasing, I tell people wait for the M, wait for the lower high. I will short the market if it does make a lower high or fails. But the first top, the first bottom, really hard. You know, people wanted to buy that bottom, and then they got even better bottoms. Same thing if the tops. If it's going to top, it might chop first. You know, you don't need to be the first person in. Second mouse usually gets the cheese. The first one gets chopped. Qs. Hit our little funnel, whatever, pennant tightness top, and we said it's probably going to pull back. Well, it did. Pat myself on the shoulder again. Good job. Saw it coming. Did I short the Qs? No. Just aware of it. Just know what's going on. If it is going to be time to short and ready for a big dump, it could be pulling one of these before it bases and go higher. I don't know. Again, I don't need to trade every move. Just be aware of them. Keep them in mind, what's going on. Homie GLD said coming into this downtrend, it was going to hit it at some point. Today we got there. Well, now what? It's a good question. Could we base here, consolidate? Anything's possible. At this point, it's hard to be super bullish without expecting some sort of pullback. Let's create it red, because once we clear it, it turns green. And yeah, at this point, it's you hit your target. So if you really want to take profits, you could have. But if you think it's going higher, then just wait a couple days, let it play out. It doesn't necessarily have to go up in a straight line. Talk about this over and over. It's just exhausting to talk about, but people need to pay attention to it. You know, it could hold high and tight and then break higher. And if you sold all of it, well, you're kicking yourself. But if you sold a little bit and it backs off and you want to buy some, there's a lot of ways to play it. Just keep it simple. Whatever you do, don't overthink it. Don't try to do a million things and do them incorrectly. Keep it real simple. Let's get into GDX. Said the 200-day was coming. I got over it and closed over it. Today's action, not the most exciting. We hit a little bit of old fib levels, and we're above the 200-day. I don't really care about the color of the candle. If we're going higher, we're going higher. That's fine. Some days it does that. You gap up, people take their money in the morning, and then it chops out. Might be another day or two. Maybe it doesn't start rising until next week. Long story short, picking the top. I'm not really trying to do that. We'll have to see the action. We'll get into that when it comes. AG talked about this breaking out of this channel. Held the 50-day, higher highs. The candle's not the color you want to see, but you still close higher than yesterday. Is it really that terrible? KL, our favorite if you'd have bought it at the 100-day. This is a nice candle. It's getting back into the upper range. Didn't really sell off today, showing why it is the boss. Let's do silver because I did a little day trade today. I want to show people how I got in, got stopped out, got back in, holding into the close. Yeah, this area right here was going to be resistance. I know this is a sloppy chart, but anyway, long story short, you could have anticipated some sort of pullback today. I didn't short the silver, but what I did do is I waited and I played the intraday action. And what I did, and here's a very good example of why, I thought this might be the bottom right here. Because this was an anomaly, a big red candle with smaller volume. Well, guess what? I got in and I got stopped out. But then, you know what I noticed is it looked like it was forming a clone channel. What did I do from there? Is I waited, bought some back near the low, and then I bought it when it broke over the channel. So as of right now, I do have my little scalp position on. I got stopped out when I got in here because I tried to buy at this candle and then it came back and made a lower low. I got stopped out, but then I noticed something, you know, I was like, this I think is forming a channel. Hold on, let me really show you what it looked like in my brain. There you go. That's what I was acknowledging. Okay, like these candles were compressing along this potentially bottom channel, and we talk about this. Sometimes there's bull and bear traps, especially intraday. Intraday is full of them. Hence why trading intraday is incredibly difficult to be consistent at. Anyone who says they have a 97% correlation correct signal always works. Maybe 97% on that day. Not every day. This day trading is not easy. That's why I don't do as much of it, and if I do it, I do a smaller position. Long story short, bought here, bought the breakout, held the close. We'll see what happens. If it dumps tomorrow, God forbid, guess what? I don't own a ton of it because it's a day trade, and I held it overnight thinking I might add to my position and just trade it. It's really that simple. Letter X. Let's get out of the intraday stuff. Yeah, pulling back. Maybe takes the 25 level and needs to fill this and back test and chop, chop, chop. If you know the personality of the stock, it choppy, choppy, choppy. We talked about the 138. You could possibly take a little if you needed to. Buy the dip back. At this point, if you haven't done anything, don't do anything. Just have your stops, your levels. If you got in here, you don't let it go below there. If you got in here, do definitely not let it go below there. That would be just ultimate carnage. Keep it simple. Where is our friend AMD? I have a lot of AMD bulls yelling at me, telling me I'm an idiot, and say you don't know what you're talking about. AMD is the best stock ever. Well, buddy, friends, look at the trend line. It hit it and backed off. 155, got down to 138. That's 14 points. If you would have just respected the trend line, you took some gain. Now, could you buy some back? Could you do something? Sure, but don't yell at me. Let the charts they kind of form themselves. You just got to acknowledge what they are and know this kind of stuff. And people are saying, well, you drew it on this day and then we went a little higher. Well, of course, we can always go a little higher, but it doesn't mean I need to do anything drastically different. If you want, let me get it perfect. Okay, there you go. It hit it exactly. Well, that's what played out. You knew it was going to back off. Straight line moves typically get sold, just like big down moves get pop at some point. You just got to keep it really simple. Observe the laws. Straight up gets sold at some point. Take profits, buy dips. You take gains because professionals take gains. If you're trying to trade for a living and you're not taking gains, the market's going to take them from you. It's just that simple. Apple, you said wait for the breakout. Didn't get it. Still, I don't know if it's necessarily super bearish or bullish, but I would use the 147 earnings day low in this 50 day to really confirm it, because if it is a head and shoulders top, then it might get and downside short term would be 143. Not really something I'm interested in. I'll let it get into this wedge and then really determine which way it wants to go, because if it breaks over the wedge, we go up. I'm in it. Breaks below it, I'll short the crap out of it and just keep it real simple. MicroStrategy, man, got hit today. I guess of the Bitcoin stuff. Hit the old range high here from last April. Talked about that was going to probably be a little bit of resistance. If you took some off again at the highs, you're happy with yourself and looking at this dip going, time to go shopping. You should be excited and happy that you did it. We're holding at the 8th day. I don't see anything really wrong with it. Is it backing off? Yes, but just keep in mind, if the market melts down, a lot of these names are going to get burned with it. So don't, just have a plan, whatever it is going to be. Don't let me tell you your plan. I can't control your emotions. You can. So your emotions should, and your plan should revolve around how you feel about the stock. But just don't be clouded. Tesla, another, I told you guys so. 20-day was always probably in play. It was up today and a bearish tape. Then, okay, here we go. You should have been buying the 1,000 level. Could have bought it this morning. Said that's just a big round number. I wouldn't be surprised if it held around there. Now, not exactly at 1,000, but around. Low of the day was 987. You pop back, you close in the, almost 100 points higher. Call it what it is. I'm not shorting it, but I'd like to see how it acts. If it can't get over these highs, please take some profits then. Pray it does, because if it doesn't and it only gets back to here and then dumps, you're in the game to make money. You have to trade it. And people hate trading, but it's like, you're playing a game called trading. Why don't you want to trade? Oh, I want to hold it for the long term. Well, have you studied the chart? It pulls back at times 30, 40, 50%. Wouldn't you like to buy that dip aggressively? Well, if I go all in and I just come back and look at it in 3 years at 5,000, then I'll be happy. Well, we all know you're lying, because you're looking at it every day, every 10 minutes probably. And the reality is that you are watching it. So if you're watching that closely, have a plan. Gosh, it's just that simple. I'm not bullish or bearish on it right now, but I did say in the Discord room, if you like Tesla for a buy, the 1,000 area, it's probably going to be a spot to take a stab at it. And look what it did. Let's get into PENN, because I put out an alert on this one today. It's a really simple trade. We're retesting the 618. Anywhere from 53 to 56, I'm a buyer. If it goes lower, fine. That's part of the game, but I think it's the risk versus reward at this point is now in our favor to be a buyer. It can get back up into the 70-80 range. This has been consolidating for a long time. You people who know me know that I love consolidations. If we hold, great. I'm going to make probably a decent amount of money. If it folds, I'll lose a couple points. Not the end of the world. I won't cry about it. But started buying today. We didn't buy the first low. We were waiting for the retest, or we said it needs to get back over 64, which is a huge zone, but nobody understands why until they see, like, hey, it would have been strong if it got back over it. Well, it wasn't. You're back near the lows. Now you can take a look at it. Let's zoom out. I'll show you on the weekly some of the, well, you didn't open up all the way. You can see I have some trend lines already drawn. This is not drawn today. These are old ass weekly trend lines. You can see if we zoom out where they came from. They're connecting the tops, and look where we're holding around. This is a nice little spot. It doesn't seem very obvious to the traders who have their eyes zoomed down on the 1 minute chart, but when you look at the weekly, you go, interesting. Old trend lines, 0.618, it's a buy. Keep it simple. If you're wrong, lose a little. If it goes up and you can make 20 points, would you be willing to risk 3 to make 20 when the probabilities say 70 or 80%? That's how I look at it, because if we hold here, it's going to go higher. And at this point, the news is out. Whatever is up with Dave Portnoy and everything, it's already out. So the news is out. It's basing. Today it could have gotten slammed, but it didn't really with the market. It was a pretty small candle. What do you say? Is it worth the trade? I look at it as, because I'm not scared to lose 3 if I know I make 20. I'll play that trade all day, every week, all day. I'll play that game if I know I can calculate my probabilities. Let's end it on XOP, because this is another one I was talking about that could be breaking out. Well, oil got crushed today and ended up holding the 50% fib. And I said, watch the 20-day. And, well, it's kind of one of those things where if you had stops, you rolled them up, you're happy, and now you could be rebuying. This is a really tight chop pattern up here. Does it necessarily mean it's going to roll to the next wave? We shall see. I mean, they're expecting colder prices in the winter, and we haven't hit the shortages. I know the administration really wants to get oil pumping in, but it's not that easy. It's not as easy as turn on the spigot unless we go to the strategic oil reserve, which I think this is not what it's for. It's meant for if we're in a war or major catastrophe. But we'll end it there. I appreciate everyone. If you have questions, come into the Discord room. It's, more people are coming in. There's always people posting ideas, thoughts. If you have a question, check it out. Also, if you want any specific answers onto a video or a particular topic, please put a comment below. I will do a video on it at some point if I can. I'm here to help. If I can't help you, I'll try at worst. Maybe not immediately, but I'm around. This is what I do. This is what I like to do. And again, helping people is good for the soul. It just brings good karma, good juju. And ultimately, when you help others, it helps yourself. I mean, just you kind of give to get. Like that karma thing is a real thing in my belief. And plus, I enjoy teaching. So, Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent. I am signing out, and I hope you have a great trading day tomorrow. Please hit me up if you got questions. Cheers.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you like the content. Also smash the like button, share with your friends, and add a comment. If there's a topic or stock you'd like me to give you insight about, let me know in the comment section. I'll do my best to answer your question. Thanks.